welcome back to Babylon. We are the podcast that you are watching, reacting, and discussing and breaking down episodes of Babylon 5. We just watched A Voice in the Wilderness Part 1, because it is a two-parter.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. I am Jenny. I'm a big fan of the show. Watched it many times.
I'm Jen. I'm a screenwriter and a producer. What do I normally say? Screenwriter, showrunner, producer, whatever. And I watched the show a long time ago. Missed most of season 1, and but I know the big picture, and I'm here for it, and I love the show.
I'm Gus. I'm a first timer. I am an actor, and I love cliffhangers. I don't. I love hooks.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm a screenwriter and an actor and podcaster. Wear a lot of hats, and I am a first time watcher of Babylon 5. Let's talk about hooks versus cliffhangers today, Jen.
But first, JMS must have written this one.
Yes, this one was written by J. Michael Straczynski, and it is directed by Janet Greek, who, if you remember, she directed Signs and Portents.
Okay.
And she also directed A Sky Full of Stars, which is like the big...
female director.
So when JMS needs to bring out the big guns, he calls Janet.
If you see Janet's name on the,
as he should. Okay. Janet has only done bangers.
Janet stays winning.
Janet. Well done, Janet. Janet.
It was the dawn of the streaming age. 4 friends, bound by a shared love of stories, embark on a journey to a legendary space station. 2 veterans of the ancient television wars, revisiting a familiar battlefield. 2 newcomers, eager to explore its mysteries and unravel its secrets. Their mission? To boldly go where many have gone before. This is the story of Babylon. The year is 2025. The place, wherever you get your podcasts.
The dog is making mouth sounds right there.
He has his paw on me and is looking at me so significantly.
We haven't walked.
We haven't walked. There's been a change of energy and what we've done, and he's like, "I thought that was the break. I thought that was
he's
the break."
Like, "We were done now."
Okay,
just a few more minutes.
Let him be. Let him be. Okay,
sorry.
But so hooks versus cliffhangers. Can we discuss?
Is that where we
want to start?
We just watched part 1, and it ends like pretty much with what the hell is that? Because we just saw the jump gate open and
don't know what came through it, except
ends
that it's
with
big.
A plot element that has not been introduced or discussed at all previously in the episode. Something dramatically happening that could be resolved in 2 seconds.
Which is what a cliffhanger is.
Yeah.
Right? Well, like Gus and I, Jen, if I'm wrong about this, please correct me. You know more than me, but like we kind of differentiate hooks versus cliffhangers as like cliffhangers can be kind of answered with like a yes or no question. Like who shot JR? Like a one word could solve the
like this
thing.
Person shot. Yeah.
Versus like a hook is more like a new enemy gets introduced or like something like that, where you're like, okay, the plot will be like furthered in a pretty significant way. Can't be resolved in like a few seconds.
Yes. And I mean, like traditionally, like if you go back to this time when you would like end a 2-parter on a cliffhanger, or you would end a season on a cliffhanger knowing you were coming back for the next season. Like hooks, it's not that hooks didn't exist then, but they would have been used probably strictly and only in the beginning of an episode. Like they weren't typically going to be the thing. Like you didn't necessarily present new information at the end unless you had a season that you were like wrapping up without a cliffhanger and you were like, oh, we're going to just drop this thing in to bring someone back. But it wasn't done very much back then. It was usually done with a cliffhanger and it was often done exactly like this, where in part they call it a cliffhanger, I think, because usually the camera goes back to the person to see them reacting to it.
Yeah.
So we start to see something, but we don't see the end of it. And then the person says, And I'm sorry, but the classic cliffhanger in Wheel of Time in the books is Asmodean. You know?
You?
Yeah.
No.
You
No.
know,
You?
and we
No.
still haven't resolved that.
Right? Right. And we
still-
only have it from Asmo's point of view. We don't have anybody, like, if you were seeing
hasn't
it, the
finished the books
camera.
yet.
Yeah, no, I know.
For the audience.
Yes, but if you're right for the audience, but if you're seeing it, if you're seeing it in your mind, but if you're seeing it in the books, the camera is on Asmodean. The camera does not swing around and show us who he says you, who you, no you.
Yeah.
So this is that same thing of like we see the jump gate open, we don't see what's coming through it, and Garibaldi goes what? Because he's seen it. And now we, as the audience, are left. We have to come back to see what happens next because we want to know. But you're right; it could be resolved in. That's exactly it. Like it could be
Literally
resolved.
just turn the camera around.
Turn the camera around, and we see the ship. And they're like, "It's Vorlons," or "It's nobody," or whatever. And oftentimes, cliffhangers were used so prodigiously. Prodigiously is not the right word. So frequently in the 80s and 90s that often they were resolved with like a one joke. Are you looking up prodigiously to see if I used it correctly?
That's right.
I might have.
You're right.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's, but that's, they were
you're
used all
right.
the time.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah,
But
remarkably
they were,
or impressively great in extent.
size, or degree.
yes. Okay. Instant and size, but not always well done because they were often like, a real letdown. If you come back in the next season, you've waited 4 months. I mean, in this, you were only going to wait a week or two, but you wait 4 months and you come back and you're like, that's
why
it?
people hated them. It's why people started to hate them and parody them so much.
Yeah.
It's
and they
fine.
got overused.
And it's funny too because I think of Star Trek Next Gen has a ton of two-parters that end with cliffhangers.
Yes.
Most of them, it's like we've made a plan. Now we're going to see if it works, and they start the plan, and then it cuts. But there are some that are hooks. I mean, without spoiling Star Trek Next Gen too much, the best of both worlds
that's
is a
hook.
two-parter that ends with a phenomenal hook involving a character that I will just describe as Locutus. That's a great hook.
Cutie.
I mean, I think this
Cutie,
has the
cutest.
potential to be a hook, right? Like in a way, because if this is presenting like a new enemy or something like that, or a new big problem, like it
I
has
think
potential
to make it a hook, we would have had to seen them.
We'd have
would
to
have
see
had to
them.
see it.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing.
And I
It's,
think,
we would have had
and
to turn the camera around.
That's, I think it's it is sort of like the cliffhanger cuts you here and the hook it takes a little bit farther. So the hooks were traditionally an early thing. Like you might see a hook in a cold open, which is, and sometimes cold opens still have a cliffhanger ending because you don't always see it, especially in a murder mystery. You're not going to see who done it, but
No, because that'd be lame.
But there's still some information given to us that we know is going to draw us in, and we're like, oh, I want to know what that thing is. I want that thing explained. And a blank, empty screen is a hard thing to say. I want that explained. You're just like, I mean, we are. The hook is, what did Garibaldi see?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it could be. But again, it could be answered.
Yeah, and it's
Very,
I mean, it has the potential to have a larger arc and plot line. It's this one's like kind of middle ground for me. But I feel like one of the things that happens in art, like TV and film, like someone does something, it works really well. And then everyone's like, we got to do the same thing. Yeah. And then people get sick of it and then repeat ad nauseum. Someone does something, everybody wants to copy that. And then like the first couple hit really well. And then like by the 17th one, everyone's sick of it.
And then unfortunately, I think that what happens is that people then bag on it and they're like, cliffhangers are stupid and suck. And they don't when they're done well. I mean, to not see it can be a great thing to keep us absolutely engaged. I think, I mean, to some degree, I would say like, I sort of differentiate them a little bit by a cliffhanger is, like what happened and a hook is, what does this mean?
Yes,
what's going to happen?
That's great.
Yes.
That's great way to break it down.
Like, what did he see? What did it mean? Or what happened and what's going to happen? And I think that's sort of the thing. But agreed, like when done well, they can be done really well, but they were overdone so much. And then people like had a shortcut to do it, which is literally the shortcut is turn it on the actor, have the actor go, and then cut.
Well, I think, go ahead, Jen.
Go ahead, Jen.
Okay, I was going to say, we talked a lot about this. This episode was always intended to be a two-parter, but the reason that he wrote a two-parter here was because the pilot had done incredibly well in Japan and Germany and England, where it was being sold as like a movie. And so the reason it's done like this is that in those countries, it was not a two-parter. It was a one.
It was a movie.
So it's an arbitrary cut.
It's kind of a cut in the middle of a movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
But
that can be tricky.
Yeah, they turned it into a cliffhanger for us, but it's meant to be, like, it's actually meant to be a...
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's actually not that uncommon in pilots and season finales as well. You have that... well, no, I'm going to take this one step farther. It's not uncommon in pilots and season finales that are written as a two-parter but aired as a single, but you have to, like, artificially manufacture that, like, what's
Especially
the
because in
thing?
reruns, it's not going to show as...
Yeah. And, and on the writer's room board, you're going to be like, what's the thing we leave them on? So that, like, even if it's artificial, the story is the full arc, but we still have to have that thing in the middle. But at this stage, at this time in the 90s, and this is still done even for things that stream and are never meant to air, where there are commercials sometimes. But
I
like
was
Star
literally
Trek,
about to talk about streaming versus commercials, that you can tell in the writing that they're writing toward the commercial break.
Yeah. And that's why we had the 5 acts of television, like back in the day, was because we had the commercial breaks in there. That's why it was broken down into a 5-act structure. And at the end of every single one of those acts, you had to have your hook or your cliffhanger or something to get them to come back after the commercial.
And now it's so much more like 3-act structure. Much more like a film, which is why everybody starts to complain that it's like 8 films strung together when it's...
Which I think is also why when you watch something like The Sopranos on HBO Max, whatever it's called now, depending on when you're watching, it might have gone through 15 more name changes. But if you're watching it with commercials, it's so jarring, like more so than usual, because that I don't think was written with the intention of there being commercials.
Yeah, it's really jarring.
It's really
It
weird.
wasn't, which was also why at the time that original programming for cable was, I mean, and obviously it was happening back in the 80s with Fraggle Rock and fairy tale theater. But at the time that it was happening, what we would maybe call premium television today, but when like The Sopranos and Deadwood and these incredible well-written shows were coming out, all of a sudden, this was the beginning of people saying, wait, I can watch TV, but it feels like watching a movie. And what people didn't realize was part of what felt like watching a movie was the pacing. Because you didn't have these like moments in the middle to go get your coffee or get your popcorn or get a new beer. And so like those are hiccups. David and I, when we used to write story structure, we used to talk about reels of film used to be 11 minutes. And so you could shoot for 11 minutes of film. And so there's a natural break to even watching movies. Like every 11 minutes, there's a bit of a breath because they had to change the reel and they couldn't actually, so you had to craft your scenes so that you weren't like picking up a scene in the middle
that makes
of
sense,
a reel. And so it just feels really different. And that's, I think, why everybody was like, oh my God, The Sopranos is so great.
Is that part of the reason why like they tell you like don't have a scene that's longer than like 3 minutes without like a change in shots or something, like without there being some kind of change in location or change in like...
Yeah, and that's attention span too. But you could fit like a 3 minutes and a break, or like 3.5. Like you could fit 3 of those on an 11-minute reel too. So it is kind of a nice pacing. But also, I think, but part of it too is that people also have a limited attention span, which I think we've trained people to have that limited attention span because of commercial breaks, because of the way that TV and film has been crafted for years. Yeah.
Sorry, I just need to share this picture of Petey.
This is why I keep getting distracted. Is because he's like...
So
he was making his presence so known.
Bring it too close.
And his little paws are crossed like he's a gentleman.
Yes. He's being very sweet about it, but
he's being very sweet about it. But he's like, "Mom, I just want to let you know that I haven't been walked yet." Like he's just letting me know.
Okay, I'll stop talking about Star Trek.
No. He can wait.
No, I literally am asking questions. This is what I like to talk about. So, because we're big nerds, Jen, you and me.
We are.
But it's just been striking me as I've been watching these, just like how much it feels like we're always writing toward like having a moment before a commercial break so that people come back.
Yeah, like a hologram man showing up, and then hologram man showing up again.
Yeah,
and then hologram man showing up again.
It's like we got to keep and that's of course rule of threes also. But
it's interfaces with it.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how you just feel how the television structure has changed away from that a little bit. And now it's like the conversation is, well, now that potentially like lower rung, like cheaper streaming is going to be bringing back those commercial breaks potentially, because like otherwise it's not as sustainable a model as they want it to be, because there's only so many people in the world, so there's like a limited amount of growth. So theoretically bringing in advertising again would like help.
Yeah,
we're just reinventing cable.
Yeah, we innovated our way back into what we had 25 years ago.
But I think it's this whole thing of like the writing may change again.
Yeah, and you have places like streamer, like places that own both a streamer and a network. So Star Trek now it's CBS and Paramount. Star Trek typically drops on Paramount Plus first, but it has been, in some cases, their intention to then either run it back to, like when I think it was Discovery, when Discovery started, it was airing on CBS Plus, it was called, or something. It was like, and it was originally designed to be without commercials, but then they were like, no, we are going to have commercials in there. Star Trek is still written with commercial breaks. I mean, I think even Strange New Worlds is still being written that way, even though I don't think that's ever seen a light of day with any commercials. I could be wrong about that.
Speaking of that, it's really interesting. We talk about how this has evolved from the 90s to now, and I promise we'll get to talking about the meat of this episode soon. But I think
we are talking about the meat of the episode.
Well, yes.
The actual content of the episode, not just the concept of cliffhangers.
Which is, I'm happy we're talking about this, but it's fun because talking about structure and hooks and everything else from the 90s to now is one evolution, even from the 2010s to now is one evolution. But it makes me think also about when I first got into Star Trek, which again, that's going to be our touchstone. I started with Next Gen. So that's the 80s. The episodes are about the same length as the same length as this. It's 3 to 5 commercials, I think, something like that. And then I would intersperse seasons of Next Gen with seasons of the original series, where the episodes are like 53, 52 minutes long, and there's like maybe 2 commercials.
Yeah.
Like there's very few commercials. And comparatively between them, like go watch an episode of Next Gen season 5 and then go watch The Conscience of the King. The pacing and the structure is so different, and it feels so much longer, even though it's only 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 minutes longer, because I don't think they had nearly as many commercials in the 60s.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. And the pacing feels more like theater almost.
It's very
with 2 intermissions instead of 5 commercial breaks.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It's really fascinating. Like, it's fascinating how one of my favorite things is that like thrillers happened because of boomers. It's one of my favorite things. Like the split between like mysteries and thrillers. The difference being like mysteries are the like whodunits, like, you don't find out until the end. But then there's like the issue of like, now I have to, in the last bit, when like you want the least amount of talking, have the person explaining like why they did it. And it always is like, that's usually the point where you're like, we want action and to like get out as quickly as possible. So then they created thrillers, which is basically like, we know from the beginning who did it, and it's like you're watching kind of the cat and mouse of like, will our protagonists be able to figure it out? Which means you needed more vulnerable protagonists than the like mystery needed. But the reason why like we see so much mystery television, like, so many whodunits, whereas like thrillers tend to populate movies, is because boomers were the teenagers and like young adults at the time. And they were the ones going out and going to the movies, and their parents, who I think were like, what, the silent generation?
The greatest
we're staying home and watching TV.
Petey, you're going to knock that over.
And boomers preferred thrillers, and their parents preferred mysteries. So mysteries went to television, and thrillers became more movie centric.
Oh, interesting.
That's crazy. I learned that recently, and I was like, that's fascinating. So like, so much stuff is just kind of what the young people are doing, like what the young people prefer, which is why I feel like, now we're seeing a lot of like YouTube series popping off and stuff.
Vertical
like
short form.
Like short forms.
Vertical short's really big right now, which if you're not familiar with vertical short, those are filmed to be watched on like TikTok or on YouTube Shorts, and you just scroll through them, and they're very fast paced, and the episodes are like 6 minutes long, if that.
Yeah, but then it's like a longer.
It's like an hour and a half story. I mean, I know a lot of people who they're very lucrative right now. I know a lot of people who booked a lot of these, but it's just very different structurally.
And it's fascinating to me because so the iPhone came out in 2007. Sorry, Jenny, we're going off for a second longer. So the iPhone came off in 2007, and YouTube launched it around the same time, and everyone was like, oh my God, vertical shorts. And it was a big part of the writer's strike in 2008 was, oh my God, what's going to happen? Like, everybody's going to be writing these things that are 6 minutes long. How do we pay a writer for that? Like, what does that mean? How do we protect our writers from this new media, which is what they were calling it? And like, at the time when I was pitching things, people were like, it's all about vertical shorts. And then they went away for 15 years, not 15 years, but like they kind of fell away, and people were like, nobody's watching content like that. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And then now we're back
I had
there.
like, what was it, Quibi for a while? Like, I honestly think it was just wrong timing. Like, I think that
we weren't ready.
It was honestly like a couple years too early. Because everyone was like making fun of it and stuff, and I was like, no, it does feel like they're onto something. It's just the execution. Like, when it came out, unfortunately, like, the pandemic was happening, like things just were like in a weird space. People weren't in a position to be like, I want to pay for a new platform that's like very kind of new and experimental.
And also in 2020, people had the time to sit down and watch The Sopranos
TV
all the way through, and people were willing to dedicate that much attention and active watching. People are now back in the kind of scope of busy, go content stuff, and I'm not saying the kids these days, but people under the age of my age, roughly, tend to watch stuff on their phone more than anything else. That's true. So it is more natural for them to be like, oh, let me just tag into some content, tag into a show. One last thing about vertical shorts. I'm sorry. It's just, this is really fascinating to me, and I feel like this has butted naturally off of what we were talking about before. But I think, PD, that's the light. Okay. I think part of the what I think is going to happen sometime in the next 5-ish years is a lot of the content that is being produced for that medium is going to go from being what it is now, which is essentially soap, which is not a criticism. It's very, very dramatic, light novel style. I had a friend who was in a short called "Dominated by My Dad's Boss," stuff like that.
And you have to be physically close enough to like play on a small screen.
Yeah. I think the content is going to shift towards being less sensationalized in that way, and I think people are going to start making prestige vertical almost, and that's going to be a really interesting development in that side of media, because right now, I know people who are like, I would never do one of these. But then you talk to casting directors and they're like, do them. Who cares? It's good. It's credits.
Frontier,
it's money, and it looks good on a resume. It shows you're working. It shows you're taking care of your career. But a lot of my friends are like, no, I don't want that on my resume. I'm like, why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is too that it's like they're literally called vertical shorts because they're like, I'm on my phone and I'm looking at my phone. You can't see this because this is a podcast, but like I'm looking at my phone straight up and down. The phones were designed. I mean, like at the time, even in 2007, they were designed to be able to flip sideways. Now it's hard to watch something like a 70 millimeter, Silverado with like big planes and horses in the distance on a small phone. So, but I do think that probably what we'll see is like, here's a soap opera is vertical. And then if you're going to tell like more of an epic story that's actually like visually interesting, you are going to just flip your phone on the side. It's not going to be a vertical short. It'll be a horizontal short, but they're going to be a similar, like, and that is going to be a different kind of storytelling. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I see TikToks all the time back when I was on TikTok where like it would open, there would be a freeze frame and it would show a phone and then it would show the phone rotating.
Flip your phone.
Like, okay, for this one.
Yeah.
But Babylon 5 was shot before this.
Way before. Well, it's just interesting to talk about kind of the evolution of this stuff. No, but it's interesting to talk about the evolution of this stuff because it's like,
sorry, Charlie.
Part of your job as a filmmaker, is to kind of adapt with the times and go like, okay, like this is what people want now. And like at this time, like the kind of thing to do was these like cliffhangers in between two parts. It's really interesting. And now it's like, that's overdone and people make fun of it. And that's just kind of like the nature of how art happens is like people get excited about something and then people start making fun of it because it gets overdone and we repeat that cycle forever. And then eventually someone's going to bring cliffhangers back in like 20 years and people are going to be like, what a brilliant idea. And then we're going to do it again.
Walking Dead tried. It did not go over very well for them.
It's too early. Like, we need 20 more years to pass for all the young people to forget that was a thing, and that was a thing we're making fun of. And then all of a sudden it will be du jour again. And I swear to God, mark my words, like, save this, remind me 20 years from now, tell me I'm not right.
All this to say, JMS and Janet cooked with this one.
Yeah,
this was great.
Okay.
We're still
So
back.
Janet.
Yes. Let's talk about actually what happened in the episode, though, not like just what
guess.
happened in the
There's a
last
part of me
10
that's
seconds of the episode.
There's a part of me that was like, did George R.R. Martin watch this and this birthed Three-Eyed Raven? Because it feels very similar in a way. There's
Yeah,
like,
We'll see what the guy was doing, because it's also...
because I have a hard time believing he did not watch this show.
Well, he's also...
Oh, I'm sure
the
he
guy
watched
was
it.
also,
I'm sure he did,
you know, kind of looked Christ-like.
He very much in a Jesus
He was in
pose,
a bit of a crucifixion pose.
Yeah.
And we know JMS has like a Christian
Religious
background,
Christian
right?
background-ish,
Yeah.
When he was young.
Yeah.
So like that iconography is going to be in his head
the title
regardless.
of the episode. The title of the episode is "A Voice in the Wilderness." That's that's literally a Bible verse. It's from the Bible. Like,
So there
he's
definitely
referencing
is
John the Baptist.
And we talk about God in this episode a
A
bit.
lot.
Yeah.
Ivanova is God. No, she's not.
And then she's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, just letting you know that I was kidding.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed because that's, as I went to Catholic school, you know, all that stuff. And I'm like, that's my relationship to God is I'm like, just kidding. I just letting you know, just in case. Like, I just, you know,
Yeah.
like we're good. And I was like, I feel that. Like, you're just like, just in case, I just want you to know, I'm just kidding.
No disrespect, man.
No disrespect
offense. She says
intended.
no offense.
Yeah, just letting you know. But yeah, I feel like if you grew up in that kind of environment, like regardless of whatever you do, that iconography is always going to be a little bit in the background.
Yeah. It's hard to like. That's the shape your body goes in when your arms go out too, though.
Yeah,
so
you're
it
like,
really is.
No, I know,
But
they were straight out.
The hand symbols for our
yeah.
God is an awesome God are automatic. Like you just,
yes.
you have no control over that. Like it just happens.
Yes.
Yeah, this was really good. A lot of plot threads. We have Mars.
yeah.
Mars is an open rebellion, which I did not expect to see. I mean, we've talked about that a lot looking back, but for some reason, I never twigged on that as like.
I feel
something.
like Sci-Fi Mars is always a problem.
Mars is
Mars
It's
is
the
always
God of War. Like it makes sense that they would make it.
It's a red planet. Like there's just something about Mars that feels untamed. I think partially because we have yet to really do the colony that we constantly talk about doing on Mars.
Always talks about it.
Everyone always talks about a colony on Mars. We have yet to see it come to fruition. You'd have to think that eventually, right? Like colonies historically not always treated very well. You know, there's a reason why everyone hates colonizers.
And colonies eventually, I mean, America, like colonies eventually rebel. Like
usually, and usually, and usually partially that is because they are far enough away that like you're like, who are you to tell me what to do? You don't even live here. You're not even from here.
Right.
You're not my dad. Yeah. Like, you're
not my real dad. Like taxation without representation. This is bullshit. You know, like eventually.
Yeah.
It is funny to me that Mars is the colony that is rebelling when we appear to have outposts. I don't know, again, the scope of this seems like we've gone pretty far outside of our solar system.
Right.
But it also makes sense to me because I'm like, that's going to be the first one.
Right.
So
they've been there the longest in a way, so they have the most need to like express their
they
independence.
have the most individual identity. I don't know the origins of Mars colony in this show. I mean,
but you'd expect that would be the first one because
probably because it's the closest.
Because it's one we always talk about colonizing.
It's the one that we talk about colonizing now.
Yeah. There's so many conversations about that all the time. I also feel like again the God of War thing, Red Planet. I learned in history class when I was younger. This is my like teacher talking. So, you know, and this is this is decades of like removal. But I remember him saying that usually it's not the obviously the wealthy and the like elites very rarely rebel because why would they? They're benefiting from the system. And the poor are often like too oppressed and like busy trying to stay alive to rebel. And they unfortunately don't have a lot of the time the education and organization to do so. It's always kind of like the middle group.
Yeah.
That has the most to gain from social movement. And they have like, you know, more education and organization. That group is usually the one that like rebels and changes systems. And I'm like, that would make sense from this context as well. If like Mars is the most set up of all of the colonies, that they would be the first ones to kind of go like, this is crap. We're going first.
Petey.
Yeah, I can see that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You know, I just kind of feel like that it all tracks. It makes sense. Yeah, but I'm also surprised it took this long, to be honest. I'm like, maybe we should have seen this coming.
You guys keep talking.
And they mentioned Free Mars, like, I think this might be 3 or 4 times they've mentioned it previously. So this isn't just, but they've only ever mentioned it like in the background. Earlier. Yeah. It's only, it's been like 1 or 2 lines. Like it's been like, Free Mars, blah, blah, blah. Like,
So maybe speaking about hooks and cliffhangers, though, like they gave us a great hook at the beginning, which is, so it's weird. They're not in the newspaper today. Mars is always in the newspaper.
Right.
Like it was a really nice little hook. That was a great hook right at the beginning of Ivanov just being like, why do you think Mars wasn't in the news today? And he's like, oh, I'm sure it was a glitch. I'm like, come on,
Jeff.
Yeah.
But it was a really great. Here's something else. So you know, JMS is a master of like dropping the seeds that we're going to need along the way. This is what we've said from the beginning is he's been dropping seeds about the show. Like you said, we've mentioned Mars colonies a couple times in this particular episode. He dropped seeds right at the beginning, which we know means we're going to hear about Mars in a few minutes.
Yes.
It's not like he was trying to trick us, but the other thing that he does here too, that I just love, I mean, and he has said this, like he talks about the placement of the episodes where he wanted them not for plot reasons, but because of character reasons. He didn't want the Ivanova episode to be as early as it was because he wanted us to have that journey for her of coming to terms with her father's death. And this as well, like from a logic standpoint and a plot standpoint, I'm like, why the fuck are you putting Jeff and Ivanova on the fucking shuttle together and sending them down to the center of a fucking planet? That just doesn't make logical sense. And JMS is like, I don't fucking care if it makes logical sense or not. These are my 2 favorite characters to put in this situation and have them have this experience. So that's who's going. And
there is a logic to it, though. There is a logic to it from the notes. Yes.
Oh, I didn't read the Lurker's Guide yet this week.
I know. There's so much. The Lurker's Guide for this, well, for part 1 is really, really long. The logic is they're suspecting it might be a first contact situation.
Oh, okay.
There is now a rule that commands, like the first contact has to be done by someone of command rank. So,
that makes sense to me.
Right. And they do say that ahead of time. They say this could possibly be first contact. So it has to be one of them. Oh, that's
that makes sense to me because you don't want your D-list guy.
Bring a couple of mooks.
Yeah, there's some
mooks. Yeah.
Bring back the mook. I miss the mook.
That makes sense to me. I always say, like, I'm always really nervous for, like, any potential alien first contact here because I just feel like, I'm like, pick who you contact first so carefully because I don't trust everyone on this planet to handle it well.
On this planet to handle it well.
I'm like, maybe wait a generation or 2. But
that makes sense. I was kind of like, why did we send only command officers?
Yeah.
That was a good question.
It would be more, but that was the logic behind it. So,
do you think it's funny that they were like, they're shooting at us?
Let's go down and see why.
Clearly, we got to go down there. Like,
right?
Here's the thing, though. This is what I was thinking about that. Yes, the planet is shooting at us. Yes, the planet doesn't want us there. However, we already built 5 giant space stations orbiting the planet. We should probably figure out what's going on before this becomes a bigger problem.
I find it surprising that we built 5 stations orbiting the planet without investigating the planet first.
Well, but again, they just didn't go 5 miles down.
Yeah. They didn't go into the atmosphere.
A classic mistake.
Yeah.
No, so they went into the atmosphere. They didn't go into the surface.
They didn't investigate under the surface.
Yeah. I'm guessing
they didn't think about mole people.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the reason is Epsilon 3. right?
Yes, which is a
I'm
real
guessing-
planet. I did not know that, but people were saying that there was a couple episodes, it was Science Importance, where you, Gus, asked, like, what planet are they on? And Ali, you made a joke. That doesn't matter, because you were so focused on the episode, you didn't care. But in the comments, somebody, like, did that whole spoilers ahead, Epsilon 3 is a real planet. They gave me all the details about the planet. I don't remember right now, but it's really cool. Yeah.
Now, I looked up the real Epsilon 3. Epsilon Eridani B? Is that
It
the
was
one?
discovered in 2000.
Oh, then that's not the right one.
No, because actually every single star hasn't. Well, no, every single star that has what is it, alpha, beta, however far you go to epsilon. Every star has an epsilon. So like Alpha Centauri is the
real
biggest.
Yeah.
Alpha Centauri, like Alpha Centauri A is the first planet closest to Alpha Centauri, the star. Alpha Centauri B is the second planet. So every sun has an epsilon.
Right.
So I don't know what I'm like.
Jen,
I don't know. I was going by what the person said in the comment.
Your planetarium came out.
my planetarium astronomer work is showing. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, your astronomer is coming. I don't know why I said your planetarium is coming out, but I know you were an astronomer for a planetarium.
Yes.
Yeah.
One day I'm going to need us to
go
into
looking it up, Gus, because all of the results are Babylon 5.
I didn't see anything. I only if the link had anything other than Wikipedia, I didn't even look at it. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything.
Because I tried looking it up and every result was Babylon 5.
Didn't see anything. Yeah. I saw 5 and I went, nope.
Yeah, we didn't look.
So I'm guessing
you can trust us.
They picked this planet because it's an Earther station, so it's got to be in Earther space or near Earther space. No, it's not, because there's the Raiders, so it's kind of international waters. So I'm guessing they picked this because it's relatively equidistant from the 5 major.
I would guess, Yeah.
Anyway,
and like I said, they did do a survey of the planet, but the reason this is happening now is because of the quakes. They said that the quakes opened something up. And,
the quakes.
Which is why they were investigating at the beginning. There was there's quakes down there. This is unusual. Go investigate. And then things started shooting at them. So.
Right.
And that'll happen.
And Mr. Pilot guy who's like, send me back, man. I'm into a mystery. I was like,
I like him. He's a little nerd, though.
I do too.
I want to know about the guy who was there. I want to know about the dead guy who was there. I was like, was that a guy they sent down at one point?
That's a hook.
That's the hook, but they ended on the cliffhanger. That's the hook, but they ended on the cliffhanger. Because the hook makes you say,
who's that dead guy?
Who's more information? I need more information about this character, and I know it's coming.
Yeah.
I need more information about what you've just shown me, and that was the hook, but they ended on the cliffhanger.
But I also wanted to know about the dead guy that was there.
Yeah,
I was like the weird alien skull?
The corpse.
The dead guy. Yeah, the corpse. Because I was like,
he was just a grave robber. I mean, to me, that he was literally just the Indiana Jones. He was like, or the Goonies. He's the guy who went first.
The movie.
Yeah, but nobody noticed.
Shit.
But nobody noticed he was down there. Nobody noticed that he went down.
He probably was just a lone guy with a lone
mission.
He's a grave robber.
He's been there for a long time, so none of us would have noticed.
He was pretty desiccated.
Pretty dead.
Yeah, pretty desiccated. Yeah.
Good word.
Yeah.
I'm a writer.
Other things happening. Londo singing the Hokey Pokey.
Londo is just a goofy bitch this episode, and I loved it.
Well, speaking of though, Draal.
Yes, I was going to bring up
Draal. He was there for that. I'm interested in how he kind of ties into everything.
Yeah, I completely forgot Draal was in this
Draal
episode.
is going to the sea. He's going to the sea.
He's going to the sea, which sounds very Greyhaven.
Sorry, I'm dropping my Annie Lennox. Don't let me do that.
Yes.
But the sea does not
it's really funny because I'm going to the sea is how I act when I'm not feeling great and I need to go commune with nature. I'll be like, I'm going to the ocean. I need to go commune with the ocean. That's what I'll say. But I also, and then I'll I also call it Victorian waif time.
Right.
You know how they send those girls to the sea, Beth and frickin' Little Women. Well, and I'm like, I need to be wrapped in a blanket and say cryptic things about my death while looking at the ocean right now.
You know why they went to the sea in Victorian London?
Well,
right?
yeah, because
I know you do, but I'm saying for the go ahead.
For the viewers.
Yeah.
Well, you can share.
Charlie, who's British. Please, let's tell Charlie.
For Charlie, yeah. Hi, Charlie. You'd go to the...
Charlie definitely knows.
They'd be in London, and breathing nothing but
industrial
coal.
London,
Not even coal dust, just whole nuggets of coal in and out of the lungs all day, every day. And the doctors would be like, gosh, we can't figure out why you're so sick, but we sure do know that sea air helps. So why don't you go to the ocean? And lo and behold, when you stop ingesting coal on a daily basis, things are better.
You get better.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You get well. Yeah, but I call that like my Victorian wave time, where I'm like, I need to be in a blanket at the seaside and say like things like, I'm so happy we're all together again. You know?
Londo being a goofball saw the guy, so that was cool. But apart from that, like he told Garibaldi a story about marrying a stripper, and he sang the Hokey Pokey, and it was great.
Turned himself around.
He's so confused by it.
He was
the Hokey Pokey is such a logical song. It's teaching the body part. I don't know why Londo can't figure this out.
It's teaching lefts and rights.
Put your left hand, put your right hand. Yeah.
I'm like, do you not need to teach your children lefts and rights?
They don't have the concepts of left and
right.
right.
Maybe they don't.
Yeah, it's like head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Wasn't there a story? Wasn't there a story? Didn't Londo say something to Adira like, "I can't marry you because you're not in my cast"? Like, wasn't there something to Adira of like? I feel like there was the something.
other. No.
She was like, "You really want to take me to dinner? I'm an exotic dancer," and he was like, "Yes, let them see us. I don't care."
Yeah.
And I guess if he's already married one,
then
he's been there, done that.
The dog might unplug
it does make it interesting to me that he was not sympathetic then to the two people that were in, like, not very sympathetic to the two people who were in love.
Yeah.
I guess if you can marry multiple people, it's like, well, just marry whoever they tell you to and then marry each other. Who gives a shit?
Because I was like, well, why were you so pissed off about them marrying for love if you're married to an exotic dancer you met at a club?
Yeah, hypocrisy. Thy name is Londo.
I guess he's more powerful, so he can kind of do whatever he wants. As opposed to Veer's nephew, who has no anything.
Yeah, and I guess,
but he said he married. Whatever.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a plot hole there.
Might be a little bit of a retconning, but
slight discontinuity.
But look, God bless Peter Jurasik, because, or however you pronounce his last name.
Jurasik.
Thank you. Because honest to God, it's not that fucking funny of a scene.
It's
not that funny. And he eats it, and he makes me
eats every
willing
scene he's in.
to allow it, because I'm not sure if this is the one. I think it's a different one, but JMS is talking about this episode, and he's like, oh yeah, there's one where Delenn is really straight faced, and it's a drop down. What does he say? Drop dead, laugh, fall down, laugh fest or something.
Are you talking about when he gets drunk on the table?
No, I think he's talking about this episode when he's singing Hokey Pokey.
That actress Delenn was trying so hard not to laugh that whole time. You could tell she was like,
it's also not that funny of a scene.
I think it's hysterical, but I think he is also so like, there was something so sweet about him talking about that exotic dancer too. There was something sweet about it.
No, not that the Hokey Pokey.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I'll get there. But there's something like, I think the reason why he sells everything is because there's like something so earnest and sweet about him, even though he's like kind of lecherous and kind of like, there's something.
Well, he's lovable. I mean, we talked about that.
He's genuine.
He does feel a little like an alien, because the things he says, you're like, in somebody else saying these things, I'd be like, ew. Like,
Jakar saying any of that?
Would be like, but he's so earnest about it, and he got like almost a little like misty and wistful, talking about falling in love with an exotic dancer, and I was like, that's the way to play. That's the way to play, because that's what makes it so funny. Is it's like,
it was unexpected.
It's unexpected.
I mean, he does do this, so there's elements of it that are just the standard like lecherous man.
But even the way he does that, it's not like, it's really subtle. He's not like, like he kind of does it, and you're like,
it wasn't like a booby gesture, but it was.
He's not like going,
very subtle.
Like could make it. I'm sorry, you could make it seem like it's just.
Yeah. And instead, he just talks about how she leans over, and you're like, okay, like I get it, but it's not. He doesn't take it. I think a lot of comedians and like comedy people would take it like to its like grossest degree. And in a way, I'm like, there's like, it's almost like a masterclass where I'm like, oh, but I like it more that it's earnest and that it's coming from a place of like, I care, and I'm trying to like tell this story as like a nice thing. It's like a nice memory for me, you know? And even when he's talking about like her voice and whatever, he's saying it in a way where I'm like, yeah, there's that like, I hate my wife humor, which feels very reminiscent of that time period. You know what I mean? But he's still doing it in a way that seems like he genuinely loves her.
Yeah.
That I'm like, you know, like he's like, oh, I was afraid to wake her up. And it's like, oh, that's really sweet. And like, I feel like a lot less subtle people would be like, yeah, because her voice sucks. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And he's like, he wasn't doing that. It was like,
he walks the line in a very perfect, like it's exactly
really,
that line. Yeah.
I really like his performance.
I really appreciated too. We kind of got like authorial confirmation that yes, Londo is funny and Jakar is mean.
Yeah.
They straight up said, you know, Jakar,
he's going to go
mean
around and make people
and
happy.
angry.
Yeah.
And Londo likes to go around and make people laugh, which is what he did all episode. Made Mira Furlan laugh. He made what is Garibaldi's actor's name?
Jerry Doyle.
He made Jerry Doyle. He made everybody laugh.
And you can tell, like, you can always tell when actors really enjoy being in scenes with certain people. And it feels like every time he's in a scene with someone, the other actor is genuinely having the best time performing with him. Like, he just is a very generous performer.
That's exactly, he gives a lot to his scene partner, which is really nice.
Like he chews the scenery without being a selfish actor. And that's such a hard line to draw.
Well, he chews the scenery in such a way that it liberates his scene partners to kind of do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Because the camera's focused on him. So then they just get to be really genuine and earnest.
And have a good time.
And everybody's primed because of Londo and Peter Jurasik's performance.
Yeah, like it feels like all the actors are so... Sorry, Jen. May I say one thing? And then it feels like they all... You can kind of tell they're all like relaxed around him in a way where it's like, I feel like he brings not only like a great performance, but he brings the best out of the scene partner that he's with because they're so
100%.
relaxed and open when they're with him that I'm like, oh, it's just like every time he comes on screen and is with anybody, I'm like, oh, they're having a great time. Like he is just, one of my mentors one time was like, it takes one person to change the vibe on a set because sets can be really intense, right? And I think about this all the time. It's like it takes one person showing up and being like psyched to be there and generous and open and like learning everybody's names and stuff to make everybody go like, I'm comfortable, I'm relaxed, and we're going to have a great time.
Now watch the Lurker's Guide is going to be like, Peter Jurasik was an asshole.
I hope not.
Not even a little bit.
Well, not even a little bit.
Good.
Sorry,
Jen, you were going to say something.
Well, no, I'm just saying you guys are right on that. And to go back to something Ali said when we were watching, and there was a scene with Mira Furlan and her mentor, and you said it's so hard to act with no dialogue. And my thought was, like, oh yeah, like that looks kind of painful because she's like trying to like emote all of this stuff to him, but her job is to, there's no more words, just to walk into the room and like be jovial. But if you watch her in the scene with Peter Jurasik and she's like, she's so full. She's so full when there's no dialogue and when there's nothing going on. And that's what you're saying. When you're talking about a generous actor gives you, whether it's their dialogue or not, even if they're just whatever, but it is when you can just be reacting. You can just sit there and react and it's genuine. Yeah. And I think watching the difference between her in those two scenes, nothing against her performance in the other scene and nothing against her scene partner, but she certainly didn't have the history with him in that moment.
Oh, no. A lot of the time, it's like you meet them day of, and you're like, nice to meet you. Now we're making out. You know
I got
what I mean?
these lines yesterday. I memorized this morning. Hi, good to meet you.
Yeah. And so you're just not as physically comfortable. And just what I think is so telling is like how physically comfortable, especially now later in the season, everybody is with him. It's like you can just tell when somebody is a joy to be around on set. Because it's just like everybody is so like their best acting, I feel like often is in scenes with him.
Yep. And Garibaldi's best acting was in that scene when he was making Garibaldi feel better. I was like,
great acting.
I was being super snobby and bitchy again about JMS's dialogue, but I was like, the dialogue is not justifying you feeling this much better, but Londo's personality is. And his performance is. His
performance is so, like, I just love watching him. He's just a joy.
From
like,
day
just
one.
a joy.
Yeah. I mean,
I would love to meet him and be like, you're a joy. Like, I just feel like we would get along. Like, I just do. I'm just like, I feel like he's such a cool guy. Because you could just tell, like, when you're watching shows, you could just tell who, like, everybody loves being around.
Yeah.
You can just tell because the performances are better. Like, you just, like, a really generous, good actor, it's not about their performance. It's about the chemistry and about the relationships. This is like a masterclass watching him. I really do feel that way. Because and he's not worried about being funny.
No, that's it.
And that's really important too.
Yeah.
There's a line in Studio City in the Sunset Strip, which was an amazing, actually, Aaron Sorkin show that was about like a Saturday Night Live show. And in the first episode, they're doing an episode live, and they come off set and they come off the stage, and they're like so upset. And she was like, "Oh my God!" Like the guy says, "That joke killed in Dress." And the line that Sorkin wrote that I just love so much is that he tells Bradley Whitford, I think, to say, or maybe it was Matthew Perry, to say, "Yes, but in Dress, you asked for the butter." Like they were sitting at a family table. In Dress, you asked for the butter. In the show, you asked for the laugh.
Yep.
Right.
It's just
so
like
true.
It's so great. But Peter Jurasik is always asking for the butter. He's never asking for the laugh.
Because an audience can tell when you're going for a laugh.
Yeah.
If you think to yourself, this line's really funny, I'm going to get him, you're no longer thinking about what you're talking about. You're no longer authentically discussing. You're no longer a person in a place having an experience. You're an actor on a stage going,
watch this.
Check me out.
Yeah, watch
this. Look at me.
And it's hard not to do that.
It's extremely hard
not to do that because you're like, it's so much pressure, right? Like you're, especially if you're supposed to be funny, it's so much pressure. Yeah. And you're like, I want to do a good job, but the minute you want to do a good job is when you're failing.
Stops working.
Or
like
when
it just is.
Yeah. And for stage, especially when you're recreating that same thing over and over again, because the unexpected laugh, the one time when you're like, I was just saying a line. I was just being being authentic. Why did I get a laugh? Then you start analyzing, why did I get a laugh? What do I do? What did I do? What did I do to get the laugh?
How can I replicate? Yeah.
How can I replicate? And you can't.
No, it's organic. It has to come from an honest place. The minute my mentor calls it the look, mom moment.
Yeah.
You're like, my mom's in the audience. Like I gotta, the minute that you do that, it's like, it's just never, it's never funny. It just doesn't come from an honest, real place. It's so hard. It's so hard to be like a genuinely funny performer. Like one of my favorite comedians now is Caleb Heron, and when you watch him, like it's all just coming from like an organic place. It's all coming from like it's the stories that come out. It's just like all real and just from the hip, and it's like it's beautiful to watch. And you're just like, dang, it's so hard to do that. It's so hard to be yourself.
Yeah,
like especially when you're playing a character, it's hard to be organic as a character. And I feel like he's so good. And you realize this is probably like the 7th take that day because it's like all these different angles and all this stuff. So you're like replicating it. And to make it fresh and have the actors be relaxed around you for that long is like so he is such a gift.
So
comedy actors do not get enough freaking credit for how hard being a comedy actor is.
The Peter Jurasik Love Hour.
That's just I just needed to wax poetic about how good he is.
I have been praising this guy since the pilot. I am happy as hell we're talking about this.
By the way, the actor who plays Jakar is like same thing. And the two of them together, you can just tell like there's like a sparkle in their eyes when they get to work together. Those two have a bromance at this point. I can feel that it's just like they just bring out the best in each other, and it's so fun to watch.
But to your question about Draal.
Sorry, that was forever.
No, don't be. No, look, I'm.
Even
again,
he was like super relaxed in that scene.
Yeah.
You could tell the difference between like he and Delenn together, which they did a brilliant job.
And Mira Furlan's fantastic. This is not a knock on Mira Furlan. It's just her character's job is to be kind of aloof.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
I did love seeing the joy on her face when when Draal showed up. Yeah. You could just you figured out immediately how she like.
Feels
what that relationship was by just her face.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's why when you have a really good actor, you don't need to write that hard.
Yeah.
You know?
He says really a line, good. Actually. The way he greets her is a line that I think about maybe once a month, where his question is, what is the third principle of sentient life?
Yeah.
And the answer is self-sacrifice. And I like that always, like I think about that.
Yeah.
And I won't remember where I'm thinking about it from. And then later I'm like, oh, that's Babylon 5. That's what that was. Like that is part of sentience, is the ability to sacrifice
I did wonder
yourself.
if that was setting something up.
It must be, because now he's going to the Sea of Stars and she'll never see him again. And I'm not clear on what it is yet.
But they have a deep and profound relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said it's like for a loved one, because it doesn't make sense, right? Like your biological imperative as a person, right? Or as a creature that exists, is to survive. Like that is a deeply ingrained and programmed thing. Like at all costs survive so that you can reproduce, so that you can theoretically, your genetic material survives. And the idea that like you would sacrifice yourself for something or someone else, like theoretically there is some biological imperative in there when it comes to an offspring. But like other than that, like not really. Like, you know, so
he doesn't even say children. He says like
friends,
sacrifice yourself for friends, a loved one, or a cause. Like
evolutionary biology will tell you that that like
that doesn't make sense.
Altruism doesn't actually exist. Altruism only exists when you are. They actually have like there's a way to calculate the percentage of relatedness, like based on your nephews, your nieces, your sisters, your aunts, like how related you are. And the more related you are, the more altruistic you'll be, because you're not actually being altruistic. You're still getting your genes out there. And then there's a whole, that's like, I mean, the selfish gene by Dawkins.
But then you're like,
but
that's not necessarily true, because people will sacrifice themselves for friends, people who have no genetic relationship to you. People will sacrifice themselves for strangers.
For ideas, for
like how many people have like jumped in front of a bus to save a kid that wasn't theirs. Like so many people I've seen so many videos of people doing that. Like, so it's like
whenever I see though, that's when that line comes to my head. Like I'm always like, I literally hear it in Draal's voice of like, that's the principle of sentient
people
life.
do it all the time.
It's a good line, and it makes me curious about what's going to happen with him in part 2. Also Londo, by the way, because like we wouldn't have this much Londo in part 1 if Londo's not going to be important in part 2.
Right.
Because why would we get the actor for 2 episodes otherwise?
Well, it made me go like, does Draal sacrifice himself for Delenn?
Seems like it.
It seems like that's what's being set up in some way.
But I'm still not sure what the Sea of Stars is. Because it seems like either he's going to go and do like some kind of endless research project, or like voyage out into the unknown to see what he can find. I mean, it kind of reminds me of, to refer back to the Wheel of Time briefly, there are Aiel men who can channel just go off into the desert on a quest that will kill them, is the intention. So I'm like, is it something like that?
To me, it read more like Greyhaven kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, where it was like, oh, we go up, and it's all just kind of a metaphor for heaven. You know, but it's like retirement, essentially. Like, we're going to go be at the sea and...
But he said Sea of Stars. She said Sea of Stars.
I know.
Yeah.
So the implication is he's going out, and she'll never see him again for some purpose. It's some unachievable purpose.
And I'm like, is that due to his age? Is that due... Because it seems like it's elective.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm tired.
He's sick of the way things are going. He doesn't like society anymore.
Yeah, Minbari is starting to, like, things are bothering him on Minbari right now. So.
The rift is growing. That's been...
He's like, I don't really want to be involved in that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. But yeah, so it seems like, I don't know, there's something interesting there. But yeah, it does seem like when he said that, I picked up on it and was like, so somebody at some point is going to embody that principle.
Right.
Jeff has the death wish, so that it could just be related to Jeff. And like Jeff ultimately survives, but like, you know, he and Ivanova have this like mentor-mentee thing going on. But yeah, I feel like, oh, and we haven't talked about Garibaldi's ex.
Not really at all.
Garibaldi always has an ex or something.
Well, it's been his only ex.
It feels like this is like his third ex. No,
this is his first ex.
No.
He had Liana, who was
everybody
daughter.
else has had an ex. Yeah,
everybody's got an ex.
Teeny is invading frame.
I just feel like I've never seen people with this much dating history before in the show. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I don't know why. I feel like usually there's like one ex, like one person gets an ex and everyone else has no dating history or like actively dates on the show.
Yeah.
You know, but like the implication that all of them have such a history is really interesting to me.
It
And like
makes them realistic, right?
yes, no, that's what I like about it is I'm like, because a lot of the time it kind of feels like a bunch of newborn babies with like fully fleshed out personalities, but no history show up.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, these people all have like deeply ingrained backstories with like characters who we may or may not ever see.
Right.
But it feels so full.
I'm going to let him out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The dog. For
feel
the podcast
like
people.
with that, I think I'm trying to figure out how all of these plots fit together in a satisfying way.
Right.
Like the Mars rebellion may have something to do with, I don't know, is he like some kind of sentient, like extra sentient being that's kind of like running things behind the scenes? Like, like almost in a god way? Because he was like, all your people will die. So I'm like, okay, so is it what?
Yeah, the guy in the she wasn't sure who you were talking about. She was still on
Oh, Three-Eyed Raven. Let's call him Three-Eyed Raven. Three-Eyed Daniel.
You were talking about Mars, and then you said the god.
Oh, because I'm trying to figure out how they're connected. I'm trying to figure out how this is all connected.
Garibaldi is God? I'm so confused.
No.
Ivanova is God.
We've established Ivanova is God.
Yes.
No, I'm trying to figure out how all these plot lines fit together. So I was like, okay, so Three-Eyed Daniel, right?
Yes.
Who's in the thing. I'm like, is he some kind of like sentient creature? Oh, this is the other thing I was thinking. Okay. Is I was like, is it kind of a Three-Eyed Raven situation where like now he's kind of tapped out and now they need a new guy to go in his place? So maybe that's how Draal fits
Draal's
in.
Draal's
got to be the new guy who's like strapped to the thing?
But why?
Okay.
But
why?
Because maybe there's like something running.
Anti-Andrew Garfield feel.
It feels like, yes, it feels like he's like an anti-Shadow kind of thing.
Right.
Like where he's like, because he said all your
around.
people will die, right? He didn't say like all the stations or whatever will die. He said all your people.
Maybe it's
like, is that Earthlings and Mars people as well? Like, is this like war between them kind of hinging on this?
Maybe the planet is like a big jail and he's the warden.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe it's what is the Demon
But then what
Reach?
does that have to do with
It's
Mars?
Demon Reach from the Dresden Files.
But then what does that have to do with Mars?
Nothing.
Like, I feel like maybe he's what's like holding the like shadow back or something, or like he's like the, I don't know, because he said all your people, and it's like we have all these little like plot lines set up where, what episode is this out of like
17?
Are we almost
18.
done with the season?
There's this, and then there's 3 more. There's this next one.
Okay, so this is
it's
kind of like
part 2, and then 3 more.
So this is kind of like the climax almost, right? We're like getting
but
toward
again,
the climax.
it's not really.
Or this is like the turning point right before the climax. I know that it's not.
It's different.
Yeah.
I know.
This in particular, to my understanding.
I know, but this like it's kind of like the bad guys close in portion.
But no, I don't think we can apply that structure.
Well, that's all I have.
All over the place.
It's all I have. So it's all I have. I'm trying.
I know. I don't think we can apply that structure because it's a 5 arc, not a 5-1 arcs.
But we've got a lot of these kind of like potential, like
jumping off points.
We've got a lot of these potential like conflicts.
Yeah.
Right. That are like, we've got the Mars thing. We've got the Minbari and Earthlings. Right. We've got the shadow shit between like Jakar and Jakar's people and the Narn and the Centauri.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a lot of like potential, like we're flirting with war, like big planetary war. It feels like we're like flirting with a world war kind of situation.
Many a powder keg.
And so I'm wondering if, and
like
it seemed like the shadow was kind of playing around with that. So I'm like, well, maybe this is like, I mean, he said that everything has to have an equal and opposite reaction. So if
we talked about that too.
That was a whole thing. So if the shadow exists, then there has to be some kind of equal opposite force, right?
That's the Vorlons. That's got to be the Vorlons.
Right?
The Vorlons are light.
Okay.
Well, with cautious pseudo, a bunch of light came out.
I see Ali's eyes like staring at our face. She's looking at us so intently.
And I'm just like, do you see how good I'm doing it? Just like sitting here listening to you guys like spout stuff
this is great. Yeah.
Well, this is one of the longest Zokolos of
Zokolos.
Dawn. Partially because
Poor
we talked
Jenny
about-
is like, I need to go to bed.
Jenny is like, it is 2 a.m. We're supposed to do another episode.
Sorry, Jenny.
It's all right. It's
But
all
yeah,
right.
but I have a lot of feelings.
You know what we could is there more you want to ask? I'm sorry, I got your hair with
Did we
my
miss
elbow.
anything?
There's not more I want to ask. There is something I want to tell. Well, sort of, I guess, ask. I think you may know this, Gus. I'm not sure if you were here, Ali, when we talked about this, but the whole Garibaldi and Talia thing where there's something going on there. It's a little funny. I'm wondering, I feel like this was written into the script because they ended up becoming a couple. Like they got married between seasons 1 and 2.
They did?
Yep.
Yeah. They were only married for 2 years. Like they didn't, but they got married. So I feel like my guess is the writers, like this would be JMS being like watching them,
Let's
their
jump on this
relationship
chemistry.
blossom.
Yeah.
Let's write it into the script.
Well,
a bit.
I mean, it's so, when you have actors who are in an actual relationship, it's so easy because the chemistry is already there. The physical comfortability is already there. Like it's so easy.
Well, to make them romantically involved or not, because another example in a different way of this is Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Charlie and the waitress are married in real life.
Right.
And Mac and Dee fell in love over the course of the show and got married around season 3. I think season 2, season 3. So, but the characters, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Chemistry is such a funny thing because it either is there or it isn't. Like on New Girl, there's this whole story about how they tried to have Cece and Coach have a relationship, and they had like a whole makeout scene and everything. And Cece, the actress who plays Cece, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, was like, it was such a fail. Like we have such a brother sister. They're both incredibly attractive people. Like that's not a problem. You know what I mean? Like it's not about whether or not they were cute enough or whatever. It's just that she was like, we just have such a brother sister vibe that like the makeout scene was so awkward I couldn't stop laughing.
Well, that's why you do chemistry reads.
That's why that's a big part of getting cast is like, do you have really good chemistry with this actor or no? Because it's painfully obvious when actors have no chemistry.
Yeah.
I feel like we should let you guys do Grey Council sooner than later.
Well, we should probably kick you out and then bring you back
let you go take the dog out.
Yeah, not because I don't want to talk about this more, but just because I know that
there's
a part 2
coming. Yeah,
I'm sure I'm going to come up with like 45 more things to say, but let's end it.
But the nice thing is we can talk about stuff we missed now in the part 2 discussion.
Exactly,
I don't want to miss anything though and be like, shit, I knew that, or like I thought about that.
Okay, well then let's go through all the characters and see if there's anything you think. Let's try and do like a round robin.
I just want to be right.
Okay, all right. I can't remember how. I'm trying to remember the order that things start off with. Okay, let's.
Whatever.
Jeff and Ivanova. I would also say, just hilariously, I never called Sinclair Jeff until doing this podcast. He was Sinclair in my head.
He's Sinclair.
Now he's Jeff.
Yeah. He's Jeff.
He's
same,
Jeff.
Same.
He's Jeff.
It's weird when I feel like it's weird hearing him referred to as Sinclair. I'm always like, who?
I have to go, huh? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's his name. But
His name is Jeff.
Sinclair, Jeffrey Sinclair and Ivanova. Any thoughts about them? They started off on whatever surface.
No, I don't have any particular thoughts about them. They were the action plot. It was good. I liked what they were doing.
I think we got to put another guy in there. I think it's going to be Draal. Anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's really good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Three-eyed Raven rules. There has to be a guy in there.
Three-eyed Draal.
He's holding the world together.
Holding the world together. Okay, so you think that's going to be Draal. Anything with Delenn? Because you already done Draal, so Delenn?
Same thing. It's the self-sacrifice thing.
Yeah, that ties together.
Yeah.
Okay. Londo. I'm trying to think other characters that were in big deal. Londo, funny.
He's
Garibaldi. I mean, we talked
that
about Londo.
girlfriend is definitely Free Mars.
Yeah, she's a revolutionary.
There's no way she's not. Yeah.
Right. That plot, I think, was the most underbaked in part 1. It definitely feels secondary. We don't see any of it. It's all Garibaldi wants to talk to her, and that's fine. That makes sense. But I think that plot is almost entirely Garibaldi internal stuff.
Right.
And I think it could be a jumping off point for Earth sucks, the Senate sucks. Garibaldi maybe has more sympathies to that than he thinks he does for being the cop.
Right.
But yeah, I think in part 1 we got less of that than we did almost everything else. That's okay.
I also had a lot of sympathy for the whole situation of like something in your life is kind of falling apart and is crazy and you still have to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
that's
that
rough.
is the
Yeah.
thing. It's like sometimes you have something going on in your personal life and at your job, and you're like, I'm just falling apart here. Like everything at the same time is stressful, as
Yeah.
opposed to like I have something stressful happening in my life, but like I could take a day off or whatever. It's like sometimes you have a
can't.
job to do still, even
Yep.
when everything
Yeah.
feels like crap. So
Yeah.
I was like, that's very simple. I'm very sympathetic to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only other
But
character
I think that's
that
got to tie in somehow. The like Mars stuff has got to tie into what's going on with this supercomputer man. I think it does a little bit
Maybe.
Okay.
somehow.
The only other top character I think, help me if I'm forgetting anybody, is Talia. She doesn't really have, like, she's...
Oh, we also did
Okay.
She's
touch
helping
on.
Garibaldi,
We also did
yeah.
touch on the conflict between the Centauri and the Minbar and the
And the
Narn
Narn,
this
yeah.
episode, which makes me feel like it's going to be relevant.
Oh, it's going to be relevant.
Yeah,
That's
I
one
feel
of
like
the most
these
relevant.
conflicts are going
Yeah.
to be relevant.
Oh God, yeah. No, the Centauri Narn thing I think is like one of the major through lines of the show.
Yeah, these things
Okay.
are all going to be like something's like keeping this from blowing up. I feel like.
Especially because it's paralleled by Earth Mars a little bit. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Centauri Narn. There were
Well-
already Narns on Narn
Yes,
Prime.
yeah.
Right. I mean, Mars is colonized by
Humans.
And the
Yeah.
Centauri were colonized by the
Yeah.
Narn, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Or vice
no,
versa.
But, like,
no.
it's
The
a
Narn
little
were
bit
colonized
different,
by the
yeah.
Centauri. So
Yeah.
it's different
Yeah,
because
exactly.
humans went to Mars as a
An
colony.
empty planet.
The
Yeah.
Centauri took
Yeah.
over Narn
Yeah.
land. I'm not going to call it Narnia.
No, you must now.
No,
call
I
it
didn't
Narnia.
come up with it. The internet came up
That's
with it.
so
And they
funny.
were like, "You call it Narnia," and I was like, "I'm not going to do
That's
that."
so
not my joke.
that's legit funny. Okay, we're stealing that. Sorry, no, that was ours. We came up with that. So, anyways,
It's been around since the 90s.
I'm teasing. But yeah, I feel like those things are mirroring each other in some
Yeah,
way.
that's a
Yeah, a little bit.
thematic
Okay.
Okay.
parallel.
One character that we didn't discuss.
Linear.
Yes.
No, always linear. Always linear.
Always in here. Yeah.
Dr. Takashi.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Who
him.
is played by Jim Ashita, who was on Days of Our Lives.
There
Which
you
is
go.
That's why
the
he's
soap opera
familiar.
I watched. Which is the soap opera I watched. I didn't watch General
What
Hospital.
else has he been on? Because he looks so familiar.
He's so familiar. He's got one-offs on literally like everything. But
yeah.
but he was like Days. It was only 16 episodes too. It actually wasn't that long of a run on there. But I'm like looking to see because he was so familiar to me as well.
Okay.
And
things
he's
that
in
he's been on?
Showgirls.
Maybe I've just never
I mean,
seen him
yeah.
before, and he just sounds familiar.
I feel like I've seen him win one-offs on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna look. No, I can't look. Right?
no, you
He's
can't
in
look
Baywatch.
anything
You
up.
No,
can't
you
look, though.
can't
Don't,
look.
don't look, and you cannot look up. No, you can't.
We're not
Oh,
looking up anybody.
Baywatch could be.
No.
I watched
Baywatch.
some of that. But yeah, so he looks familiar. But that's the other one that could be the guy who goes into the three-eyed, because he was like,
'Cause he's
what
very
better
interested in
than
the
to
mystery. Yeah.
He's
sacrifice
very
yourself for
interested in it,
science?
He's married
Yeah.
though,
He's got a
right?
wife.
Didn't he say something about his wife loves a mystery? I thought she was going to go back down with him, but no. He's like, I got to call my wife
Couldn't
about
afford
this.
the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like he's totally gonna die, because that's just a line that someone who's going to die says.
Yeah, but also you remember like the weird prospectors who got 7 pages of dialogue,
Yes,
and the
yeah,
guy
and
who
then
found the eye
yeah.
of Agamotto or whatever the fuck the Centauri Egg MacGuffin was, who talked for 8 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
but like, did he say stuff that sounds like I'm gonna die? Fair?
No, but he was like,
Yeah.
'Cause
Londo was
this
like,
is
"Where'd you
right
get it?" And the
there.
guy was like, "Sure was a lot that went on down there. Many things. I think it's better you don't know." And he kept talking, and I was like, "Oh, so they like stole this from somebody, and that person is going to come back and." But nothing.
No.
Well, sometimes that happens. I mean, sometimes we
It's JMS.
go
You
off.
can't trust that it won't show up 10 years down the line.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm like, but there's. It feels like because it's a part 1 and part 2, it's like even more important. Do you know what I mean?
No, for sure.
Like everything is more
For
important.
sure.
And it feels like there's like a thesis that's thesing right now.
JMS is also really good at giving his day players something to do.
Yes,
And
he is very
actual
good about that.
characterization.
He
as
is very
opposed
good
to
about
just
that.
being like, "I'm a lawyer. I have 3 lines. Goodbye. This was my time on Law and Order."
I'm just
Yeah.
saying that there are 2 things that really piqued my interest. One is people talking about self-sacrifice
Yes.
a bunch. So like both this guy, whatever his name is,
Mr. Dr.
Takashi,
Takashi.
Dr. Takashi.
Takashi,
So both he
yeah.
and Draal were
Tasaki.
both
Yeah.
at this point day players.
What is it?
Chisaki.
Tasaki.
Or I guess
In
they're more
version,
than
yeah.
day players potentially if they're in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
In
one
2 episodes,
yeah.
they'd still be a day player.
He'd still be a day player?
Well, they would be a co-star.
Or would it be a
Back in
cameo?
the day, it was
Yeah,
called
okay,
a co-star.
co-star.
If it was under
Co-star?
5. If it was under 5 lines. If they have more
Not
than 5
cameo?
lines, they're guest. No.
Oh, he was a guest then. He had more than
Recurring
5.
guest. He's a recurring. If he comes back, he'll be a recurring guest.
Okay, so they're both recurring guests. Both of them talked about theoretically, if they're both on 2 episodes, they're theoretically both recurring guests. They both talked about self-sacrifice for causes and friends. So I'm like, that feels like it's a running thing.
Okay.
We also established that both Jeff and Garibaldi tend to have death wish, like self-sacrificing tendencies. So I'm like, let's pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And the second
Jeff
thing
and Mike and Jeff
is
and-
all of the stuff about like conflicts between colonizers, equal and opposite reactions to stuff. And then, the thing that they left off, though, is like, objects, emotions, say emotional, unless acted upon by a force.
Yeah.
Like, they left off some stuff to that. So I'm like, that could be interesting.
Cool.
This is good. I like this.
Yeah. Apparently
lots to
so.
unpack here.
This
We
Zocalo
talked
is
for. I
longer
bet you
than
didn't
science
think this would be an hour and 15-minute
No,
long
I did
Zocalo.
not. I really did
Sorry.
No,
That's good.
don't apologize.
That was my fault.
No, it
I
wasn't. We
I
had a
got
good
excited.
Don't
great.
apologize for being
I-
excited to talk about stuff. That's a great
Literally,
thing.
that's the point.
That's why we're here.
Okay.
Yes.
You're so silly.
Okay, I'll apologize then. I just feel bad because Jenny's up really late. But
No, I took a nap. I took a nap this afternoon. Don't worry.
All right. Okay.
But I do want to kick you out so that we can come back and
Yes.
watch part 2, so you can know what the hell that was.
What was
And we're
that?
not going to talk about anything.
No,
about
not
it.
at all. You're just going to sit in silence for half an hour while we walk
Yeah.
the dog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's not going to be half an hour. We're going to change. We're going to save most of it for the next.
It would be
next
so telling
breakup.
if it was like 5 minutes and they're like, "We're ready,
All right, good.
come back."
Yeah.
I'd be
All right,
like,
well-
"Oh, I way overanalyzed this. Actually, my bad."
Yeah, this episode actually famously, JMS thinks it's trash, and
Yeah,
Yeah, I brought
suggests
Janet
people.
Greek in for nothing.
Yeah, he suggests people skip this. Actually,
Yeah, famously, the last few episodes of a season never pop off.
never.
No.
Okay, we're gonna walk the dog. We'll be back. Have fun.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
What the hell is that?
Ah, my friends! You have reached the most dangerous part of our journey, the Grey Council. Here we speak of things that must not be spoken. Secrets, betrayals, spoilers. If you are not ready, turn back now. But if you dare to proceed, I promise you it will be magnificent. Oh, Mr. Garibaldi!
Perfect. I love it that
Oh
you
my
cut him off
God.
right at the end of that. That was amazing.
I didn't.
Or you
That's
didn't.
when
He
he
just
left.
hit.
No.
You hit. He
That's
hit
when he
exit.
left. He hit it.
That's hilarious. Okay.
So, do you? I was starting to take notes during
I was
that
too.
conversation. Yes,
I was too.
So,
Well, okay. So the first thing the first thing I want to hit on is the three-eyed raven. So they
Yeah.
nailed that.
yeah, 100%.
Nailed it 100%. And here's what's hilarious. Again, like, my season 1 is spotty at best.
Yeah.
So I went into IMDb because I was like, oh, I want to like look at IMDb and I want to see this episode in particular. Like, and I want to, because I was looking up a Patty Toy who played the Psycor rep because they were like,
Me
she's
too. I
familiar.
looked at it.
Mhm. And what's his name who I just mentioned? Jim Machida. So anyway, as I was doing that, I scrolled down if you're on IMDb too, and I got to Draal, Louis Turin, who plays Draal.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they fucked it up. Because it's a picture of him in the next episode.
Oh yeah,
The picture
yeah.
they
when-
have is after he becomes the three-eyed raven. And
Yes.
so I was like, oh no, they fucked that up. That should be Varn. What now? Which actor is which? And I was like deep diving trying to figure it out. And then I was like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dumb.
And the Draal does actually come back later, but I think they have a different actor when he returns.
Interesting. Yeah.
And they retcon it in not even retcon. They say like the machine healed him in that now he looks
Yeah.
different and like it's
Yeah.
fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. But yeah,
Well,
guess
I
they
wonder
just
if he
couldn't get
passed
him back.
away because he was born in 33. So, well, no, he was only
Oh,
61
wow.
when they shot this though.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's not
I
too
don't
much.
know why. Yeah.
Now Kurt Lowen's who plays, well, I'm going to save this for the next one. I'm going to save this for Zocalo
Okay.
next time. I have a little Kurt Lowen's thing I picked up. Anyway.
Okay. I'm very I'm curious now.
Yeah.
From my notes, let's see. The first thing in my notes is actually not even from our Zocalo discussion. It was watching the episode, and I've never had this thought before.
Yeah.
The way Delenn reacts when Draal tells her like he's going to go to the sea, which I read through the notes. JMS doesn't ever explain this. I think it must be like a Minbari expression of I'm just going to go die.
Yes, and they talk about the souls being like, whatever, captain transferred or whatever, like the whole thing about like, we've already talked about eternal life in them. So I think that there's, anyway.
There's something there. But the way she reacts, like, she could see that she's sad, but then she sees that he wants, like, no, I want this to be like a time where we're gonna like have fun. And then you see her steel herself and she's like, okay, I'll do this for you.
Yeah.
I never made this connection before, but that is literally how the series ends. When John goes, like John Sheridan, they're going to want to call him John instead of Sheridan.
I know, I was like, John, oh wait, you mean Sheridan.
Sheridan, yeah. But like, he wakes up on the day that he's going to die, and I might actually start to cut that episode, like, guts me every single time. He knows he's going to die, and he decides he spends his time with Delenn. He's like, I want to go out and be in space. And I want my last day, my memories of you to be happy. And you see her, like, she's really sad. And then she's like, okay, that's what you want. That's what you get. And it's like, I'm choking up. Like, it's just this beautiful moment where you see, like, she does that here. And I never noticed that connection of, okay, I will give you what you want and need in your,
And so this is one where I want to see the actual script because JMS wrote it. And what we see on screen and the words that we see on screen in the acting performance sometimes comes directly from the actor, but I put all of that subtext in my action lines. The action lines are never going to get said out loud and they're never going to get seen. And so like the action lines of like, you can just say she steals herself, but you can also, I mean, the way I write is like, I would write like, she takes a moment and thinks about it, knowing that this is the biggest gift she can give him or something. Like, I'm going to imply that even if I haven't told Delenn, the actor, if I haven't told Mira Furlan, your character is going to have to do through this again. I'm going to make sure that it's as much of that is in the script here to like, I need you to convey your humanity, your ability to, your empathy. In that you're going to take the emotional hit that this causes in order to give them what they need. And I'm sure he put it on the page. I'm sure he put it on the page. I mean, he was like, and he was there on set. He could have given that to her, but I'm sure he didn't say, this is how your character is going to end the series.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think he would have told her that at this point.
I bet he knew.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's, I don't know. I never made that connection until this time watching. It's like, oh.
And
the other thing.
And he had just said to her, without that hope, like there's no point of going on kind of, or something like that. And then he also says like evolution is pointless if we don't figure it out.
She says that, I think, but
yeah. And like, I'm like, the funny thing is, I guess we didn't, I don't know when I don't know. I literally just talked to somebody about Dark Forest. Was that not here?
Not me.
Did I not bring up? Because it's through Dark Forest is the third book in the 3-body problem. And
okay, so I haven't read. Yeah.
And so, but the Dark Forest theory is that it's better to not show better to not show the world that you exist in the universe, because as soon as you show them, someone's going to assume either you're going to come and kill me, so I better go kill you first. So it's better to stay dark in the forest. It's better to to not show your light, so that no one comes to attack you, because everyone's first instinct will be eventually you're going to come kill us. So I got to get rid of you first. It's really dark. It's really
dark. That's horrible.
It's really horrible. And so this is the opposite of that. This is like him saying, we need that hope. But the evolution is, pointless without it. I was like, yeah, that sounds very Dark Forest.
Very much.
Yeah.
They talked a lot about Garibaldi, and they didn't really twig onto Garibaldi with his ex there. Hilarious. Garibaldi in this whole show, he comes across. I know Gus called him the Riker, and Riker on Next Gen was the one who slept with everybody.
Yeah,
Garibaldi
and early Riker is so gross. He's so gross. I love him, and I love Jonathan Frakes. Early Riker is disgusting.
Yes, but Garibaldi has that vibe. I think that he only ever, in the entire 5-year run of the show, only ever sleeps with Lise, who is the ex that is mentioned here, and he gets a happy ending with her. I don't mean that in a dirty way.
No.
Like he literally like marries her, and they settle down. Like with all of his ogling of Talia, he never does it. I think there's another episode where a woman literally throws herself at him, and then she comes back as a ghost and throws herself at him again. And like he doesn't do anything because he's got this ex that he's a gentleman, and he is in love with one woman, apparently one woman only, and that's it. Like, you know, so it's interesting to me. Yeah.
But they're not. I mean, their clues, their context clues, cues, are giving Riker.
Right.
You know,
him very
like,
much so.
You know,
like the way he stared at her butt in that other episode.
And then when the doors of the elevator open, and he's just like, "Hey," and Jeff being like, I'm going to go with you and take the stairs."
Yes.
he's made out to be creeper, even though he's not, which I think is also a very fun character choice, and I think very much a JMS choice of like, you think you know what you're getting with this guy, but you're not.
You're not going to get it. Yeah,
which is great.
The other thing, I think Kate talked about the reason that they sent them down. From the notes, it seems like JMS expects people to know how the Minbari Earth War started, because the way he said the reason that a command officer has to do first contact now is because of what happened when the humans first contacted the Minbari. Like that first contact was a disaster and literally resulted in a war that like nearly wiped us out.
Right.
And he says that in a note, but these notes are compiled from things that he said to people at the time, like while the show was airing. He's like, so the reason that command officers have to do first contact now is because last time it was not command officers. It was just like,
but they haven't revealed that on the show yet.
No, they haven't said it, but it's the way he said that. I was like, oh, does he expect that everybody's figured it out? Because they haven't said it yet. And I don't know. I'm trying to remember when I put that together in the show, because I don't remember. Yeah.
And they dropped us the line last time of, you're gonna of like, it was an accident, and we talked about that a little bit, you know, in Great Council. Yeah. And so, but they did drop us that line of like, it was an accident. I think this is just JMS knowing the big picture and probably having written, well, obviously by the time he's doing this at airtime.
Yeah.
So he may also, because his plan was probably to have some of that information revealed earlier because of all of the like Ivanova episode getting thrown forward and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, I think that this is probably, this literally might just be him being like, oh shit, right, we didn't tell you that yet?
Like afterwards,
you know?
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I've done that, like when I know where things are going,
don't
like,
know.
oh, right. We aired it out of order and you didn't get sorry, never mind.
Never mind. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I have other notes. Do you have any other notes? Because I
have a couple of other notes, but I'm going to hang on to the next one, because they're things that are like that they said that are going to play out in the next part 2.
Right.
So I may hold on to them. Yeah.
Okay. The other thing, then I will, because the rest of my notes I think are responses to things that they said. So Only Mars, they was like, it's strange that Only Mars is rebelling. Only Mars is rebelling now. The other they're 100% right. There are other colonies out there, and they will rebel once Earth goes full fascist and starts trying to bring down the hammer.
Can all y'all colonies come help? Sorry, what? Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, God. And then I never made this connection before either, but when Ali said the dude in the Jesus-y dude was like, all your people will die. I think he was just meaning like all of Babylon 5 will die, because if he is keeping control of the machines on the planet, and basically if the reason there are quakes is because he's losing control. Yeah. And so he's afraid, like, if there's nobody in there, the planet will explode. And if it explodes, you're dead. Yeah. Like, that's the way that goes. But when she made those connections, I was like, well, kind of, actually, it's true, because the machines on there, they make the rift that sends Babylon 4 into space, into the past to fight the shadows. If they don't do that, this entire sector likely gone. And
so he is in fact the three-eyed raven.
Kind of, yeah.
Like, of all this has happened before, it will happen again.
Yeah. All of it will happen again. Yeah. So she's gonna watch the next episode and think, oh no, he just meant Babylon 5. But it's not like unreasonable to say, actually no. It's the Epsilon 3 machines on Epsilon 3 are vital to what's going to be happening later on in the show, in the series. So
yeah. All right. Yeah, that's great. And in a sense too, though, like we are also sitting in a two-parter, and so it's interesting. I'm glad you said this up front, but it is interesting because from a perspective of them, I'm like, it's a two-parter. This must be a really fucking important episode, and JMS wrote it. But part of this being the two-parter was because they wanted to ship it overseas and sell it as a two-parter, and so there is an aspect of like, this isn't actually giving us as much. Like, this is to me, I would be like, well, this must be like signs and portents, where all the signs and all the portents are in this episode, and they're not.
Exactly. No, they're not.
So them jumping to that conclusion makes sense.
It makes perfect sense, and like this episode is I like this episode, but it is for me, this episode is an episode that plants a lot of seeds. Like the planet, I feel like this is just me predicting from Gus and Ali. They're going to be a little like, that was weird because this episode makes such a big deal about the planet, and then it's just there for a while, and it's not really like, it's just there under the space station, and every once in a while will get mentioned, but it will become a big deal later. Like that's a seed that's being planted. Even Free Mars, I don't think, like, Lisa's gonna be fine, whatever. Yeah, but that's something that is going to be important later. Like a lot of this is stuff Draal is going to be important later. Like all of this is going to be important later. So there's seeds being planted, not big things happening. Although, they're doing big things, but... But I know. Yeah. Okay. It's okay. I had other thoughts there, too. Okay, this is referencing something from Signs Importance. Gus was saying that creepy guy who had all those lines about how he got the Centauri the eye. I think my guess is that he got them from the shadows, and that's why he was like, "You don't want to know what I had to do to get that." Like I'm dealing with some really creepy people. Yeah. That was the vibe I always got from him. So. Or I got
like I've sold my soul.
Rewatches, pretty much. Right.
But it is funny that he brought that guy up in particular as being like, that didn't mean anything, or that had
Yeah. Oh, but this okay. Other things. They think that all of the 5 Babylon stations were built around Epsilon 3.
I know, which they're not. I know. I was going to say, I almost correct, and then I was like, no, I'm just going to let them think that. We don't know that yet. Yeah.
They might figure it out when we get to Babylon Squared, which, and I am going to bring up something that was brought up during the reaction that you said, but that will not be in the reaction because it was in the part where we had to stop because they had to let PD out. So, but you said you thought that Babylon 5 moved. Babylon 4 moves. Babylon 4 is a ship, but it's like a massive, like it's supposed to be a ship. And the original, so that's why it was really useful during the Shadow War when they said it back in the past, because it can move. Like it's not just.
It's not just
base of operation that can move. Yeah. And the original plan was for it to be sent forward and to fight in a future Shadow War as a big warship in a future Shadow War.
Yeah. Oh, good. So, right. Okay. Yeah.
That's the difference between them. And somebody did point this out in one of the comments. I've been trying to think of a way to bring this up, but I don't know how to bring it up naturally. But the reason that Babylon 5 is so off kilter, it feels like it's held together with duct tape. Because Babylon's 1, 2, and 3 exploded. And so they just took the parts and they built a new one. Babylon 4 fucking disappeared and took all its parts with them. So they had to.
So this is like whatever was left. Yeah. Scrap metal.
Yeah. It's scrap metal, which is why like it's not as clean as the previous ones and stuff. So yeah.
Right. Also, you know what? I mean, yes, and I would agree with that. But I also would just say, from a production standpoint and production value, Star Wars at this point is long gone. Like, people aren't really thinking about the Star Wars movies, and we don't know that we're making new ones yet. In 94, they weren't even making them yet.
No.
So, but Star Trek is what we know, and Star Trek is so clean. It's so clean. And this is just also another way to differentiate too. It's like, you want to make 100%. It look like it's a little bit dirty and there's some oil stains and, and even Babylon 5 in the 80s version was pretty damn clean. Babylon 5. I mean, sorry. Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar
I do that all the time.
Galactica.
Yeah, BSG in the 80s was pretty damn clean, but BSG in the 2003 is nice and dirty, you know, and it does differentiate, but that's a whole other reason. So
you can talk about this. Is not. It doesn't have to be for Zocalo. Actually, this could totally be part of, or that doesn't have to be Grey Council. It could be part of the Zocalo. He apparently wrote this episode while he was on a fever, during a fever.
I saw that. Yeah, he was like, he said he was having like a massive, crazy fever.
Yeah, so it's kind of. There's another episode that comes later that we can't mention yet, but that he wrote, and he has no memory of writing it because his fever was so bad.
I should say that I write often. One of my best writing times is overnight, at night.
Oh, okay.
Because the world is quiet and I can like focus on it, but I do not always remember what I write. And I've actually had that experience where someone sent a script back to me with their, like, they had put their own rewrite on it and there was some joke in it and I was like, that's fucking hilarious. And then I went back and it was in the draft I sent them. Like,
I was like, I'm amazing.
No remember of writing that joke, but damn, I'm good.
Yes. I don't think that was all. Oh, the only other thing in my notes, and it's just, it makes me sad again, but Sinclair seeing things and then not saying anything again feels a little.
I was so uncomfortable. I was so uncomfortable with him seeing it and then not talking about it, and then being like, I must just be tired or working too hard. And I was like, by this time in the season, they had to know what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
that
felt
is
very
a hard
uncomfortable
thing
with
to
that.
see.
Yeah.
We're going to just actually see what production number this one is. Hold on, let me.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah.
This is episode 18. So production number 120. Yeah, they probably knew by this time.
Yeah.
So, or at least knew. No, they would have known. They had a conversation with him. Yeah.
Because they were like, he was like, should we shut down? And they were like, no, we got to keep going.
No. Yeah. Because he did. Yeah. Michael, like both, the way both of them handled it, I think, was because Michael O'Hare didn't want to quit because he's like, if not even quit, like shut down for a bit in order to get the help, it'll shut down the show. Like it'll completely, everybody will lose their jobs. And so let's at least finish the season and see what happens.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I'm sure we'll have more, like I said, this is a two-parter. So the next episode is going to conclude some of the questions that they had.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's enough for this. This is almost getting into signs and portents territory as far as length. Wow.
Yeah. I think it's perfectly good for us to keep the Grey Council a little shorter in this one so that, because we went very long in Zocalo.
Yes. So, thank you for listening. And you can check out the reaction, which is up on my YouTube channel. And you can check out our Patreon, which has the unedited version. You also get early access and ad-free versions of the podcast and all that up there. So you can check that out.
My cat walks in and out.
Yes, all of that. Thank you for joining us in Babylon.